Hello, and welcome to the Potential State. My name is Dr. Assael Romanelli, and today we're coming live from Orlando, Florida. So today I want to talk to you guys about the first installation of the Own Your Shit series. Own Your Shit is the hashtag that I've been developing about owning your shadow, being connected to different parts of yourself, knowing thyself. And all these parts, especially our dark parts, are parts that we're less proud of. Our defense mechanisms, the way we lie and manipulate ourselves and others, as a tool, as a vehicle for us to connect and deepen our relationships. And today I'm going to talk to you guys about being insulted as the ultimate form of blocking, and how we should all choose to work otherwise within our intimate relationships. So we'll start by recapping the idea of blocking. So blocking by Keith Johnson in theater improvisation means there's three ways I can block. It's actually a form of aggression. So the first form I can block is to negate my partner's reality. So I'm doing a scene and my partner says, "Hey, brother, thanks for coming for my birthday." And then I block him by saying, "I'm not your brother, I'm your dad. Don't you forget?" It always gets a giggle from the audience, but it kills the scene. The other way I can block a scene is by slowing down the action, preventing the action, not following the fear. For instance, let's rob a bank, and I'll say, "No, wait, I don't have a gun." And then my scene partner will give me a gun, and I'll say, "Wait, I don't have any bullets," etc., etc. I'm postponing the action. That is a form of blocking. And the third form of blocking is not listening, is ignoring my partner's bids. So in previous chapters, we spoke about perfectionism as the second kind of block, as slowing down, preventing action, preventing play. And I want to claim today is that being insulted is the highest form of blocking, and the blocking in the sense of negating my partner's reality. I'm going to give examples from the clinic, both when I was a witness to such blocking, when I was being blocked by someone being very insulted from me, and the third is when I was insulted. So what happens when I'm insulted? So when I'm insulted by someone, what's happening, I'm not only negating, I'm not only saying what you said is wrong, I'm also like finding a flaw. I'm doing a character, a moral, ethical judgment on his character, on his nature, his or her nature. So it's not only that I don't agree with what you just said, it's like you are a bad person for thinking that and feeling that. And what I'm doing, I'm actually doing a one-up. I'm one-upping myself, I'm pushing him down, I'm devaluating the other by giving him a moral judgment, and I save face, I feel better about myself. Okay? So I'm also negating what he's saying. I'm also putting in question his character or his nature. And C, I'm raising myself. All of that happens in one action. Now what's paradoxical about that, or what's ironic, is that usually I'm being insulted when sometimes when somebody wants to hurt me, but many times it's when someone's trying to get close to me, or when someone's questioning me, or when someone's challenging me. So instead of embracing that person and holding the heat and letting him or her in, I'm blocking her, I'm negating her, and I'm actually telling this person, "Don't come close, because if you come too close, I'm going to get insulted, and I'm going to make you feel like a bad person. And if I make you feel like a bad person, you're going to stop criticizing me. You're going to stop challenging me. You're going to stop pushing me to be a bigger person, to grow up." So, and in that sense, if I choose to be insulted, if I choose to be insulted, then I will be right. I'll feel righteous. I'll feel like I'm a martyr, and I'll be alone, because the other person in that instance will feel either very, very guilty, or he'll just lose interest because he or she will say, "Well, anything I say to this partner, he always gets insulted." So it's either about being alone and righteous, or being on an equal playing field and together. And I want to give a few examples, and then I'll connect it to what you guys can do to choose otherwise. So the first example is a couple I was working with a while back, and the wife kept telling the husband, "I want to know what you're feeling, I want to know what you're feeling." And then he finally shared with her an experience where he felt that she was mean to his mom. And he gave an example, and she was shocked. She was hurt. How could he even suggest that such a thing? And he backed off, and I said, whoa, what just happened here? She says, "I cannot believe you just said that to me." So I said to her, "Well, that's really interesting, because you wanted to hear what he has to say, but the second you're insulted, you're basically not even listening to him. So you just negated what you just asked him, and I see what the effect it has on you is that you back off because on one hand she's saying tell me what you feel, but if you say something that she doesn't like, she gets offended. That's a first example. When she thought about that, when they both thought about that, she said, okay, took a breath and said, okay, let's keep going. Tell me more about that. But you see, that's much easier to do when there's a third party, a therapist in the room who's saying to you, stop being insulted. Easier said than done. Example number two, a woman and a couples therapy, and the woman is very volatile, very emotionally unstable, very crying a lot in the session and out of the session, and that's her business card. That's the way she presents herself. And as I do with every single couple, I explore the secondary gains. What is she gaining? What are you gaining from this? And in the first session, she when I was pushing back and I was saying, what are you gaining from this? How is this serving you? How is this serving the system? We call this the underfunctioning. You're underfunctioning, right? Because you're so emotional, you're so distressed. And when we finished that first session up, she said, thank you, I felt pushed but not cornered. Okay, the following week they come back and she says to me, she starts right off the bat, I was very, very shy by what you said. And she went out with like a 10-minute analysis of how unprofessional I am. That I could even conceive of the fact that she is gaining something from this behavior. So she didn't only block me, she put into doubt my professionalism, my ethics as a therapist. Now, she was very, very effective because I started getting rocked. I started feeling, whoa, did I do something wrong? Was this too much? When I remembered, I quoted her and she told me last week it was just the right amount. So in this case, I'm already feeling this because I'm already used to being devalued in the clinic, being challenged and pushed, and being yelled at and disappointed for me. So I breathed that in. I let her devalue me by being insulted and shocked how unprofessional I am. But then as I was breathing through it, it took me about 10 minutes. Then I could come back later and say, look what happened. You're doing to me what you're doing to your husband. You don't really want to hear what I have to say. You don't really want to be pushed, or you're not used to it. And when I push you in a direction you don't like, you get insulted. And the way you devalue me is you're doing it from a one up. Because insulted, I'm going one down, right? I'm going one down underneath. I'm like, it's not being aggressive and saying, you don't know anything, right? I'm pushing you down. I'm flipping it. It's much more manipulative, right? Because I'm going one down. Oh, how dare you? The eyebrows go like this. How dare you? How dare you? But actually what you're doing is you're devaluing him because you're saying, how can you even say that? You're such an evil person. How can you say that about me? And I challenged her on that. And she listened. She didn't agree with me completely. But at least what I felt is I was liberated from being that persecutor, right? Because what she was basically inducing me is into the victim triangle, right? She's the victim, right? When you're insulted, you become a victim. And that means that the person who insulted you is the persecutor. So within seconds, you're already casting the whole relationship. And when she challenged me, or when she devalued me and told me I'm not professional, she turned me into the persecutor. And I needed 10 minutes to kind of breathe through that and allow myself to hold on to myself and go back into that role, back into myself. And I could come back to her solid and saying, I'm not your persecutor. And in fact, you chose to come back. I'm not forcing you to stay here. And last week you even told me. So that's another example. And I want to give an example when I was hurt, when I feel insulted. So I was having an argument with my wife and she said something, I don't even remember what, but I felt really insulted. How dare she? I don't even remember what she said. And I was feeling sorry for myself. And I'm recognizing that when I feel sorry for myself, that means I'm insulted. That means I'm inducing whoever's with me into the victim triangle. And the second I do that, then I'm not really listening to what Galit has to say, right? Her point is not valid because I'm so insulted. I'm so hurt. And when you're hurt, obviously whatever someone's saying to me is not true because it's so offensive. So I remember I was standing by the kitchen table and I was feeling sorry for myself. And then I don't know what happened, but I said to her, I'm feeling really sorry for myself. And she says, I can see. And I said, wait, I want to try to move through this. I want to move past this. The only way around is through. So I go through it. I feel insulted, take a few breaths, and then I say, okay, you had a different opinion. Wow, you really challenged me there. Why was I so offended? What happened? In a second, I'll bring that back into tips. But that experience of being offended, feeling sorry for yourself, you don't always know when you're offended, but you know when you're feeling sorry for yourself. Taking a breath, holding on to yourself, solidifying your sense of self, and coming back into the crucible, back into the heat, but from an equal playing field. And before I give the practical tips, I want to give another version of being the insulted. It's I call this the reductum to absurdum. You tell someone, and then he says, wait, you're telling me. And then he or she flips it to the opposite extreme, which basically is obviously ridiculous, and that's not what you meant. And then all you can say is, no, I don't mean that. And they're like, exactly. So basically, it's their way of deflecting what you're saying. Once again, a form of blocking. So I remember I was working with this woman, and her husband's a CEO of a company, and she's a secretary in somewhere else, and she has this dream of going to do a doctorate because she feels she's just as talented as he is. And when we started speaking about it, I said, there's other models. You don't have to be the housewife who cleans all the time and does a part-time job that she doesn't like. So then she goes, wait, are you basically telling me? And then she flipped it, that I need to be the prime minister? And then it took me a second to realize what she's doing. She's blocking me by just giving a ridiculous opposite example, which is basically, and of course I would say no, right? No, I'm not saying you should be the prime minister. And then she would have said, you see? So what else do I have an option? That's the only option I have left. Okay, so once again, this question was kind of a deflection, was kind of a version of being insulted. But actually, it was a form of a one-up blocking. She blocks me. The music is a one down, but the actual dance is she's one-upping me. Because I am the bad guy. I am the unethical one. I am the unprofessional one. Or her husband is the mean one. How dare he say that about her? So I want to give you some tips now on what to do and how to choose differently when you're in a heated conversation with someone you're intimate with, colleague, friend, partner, son, parent, sibling. First of all, notice when you are insulted. For me, I notice more when I feel sorry for myself than when I feel insulted. But just notice that. Do you get insulted a lot? Are you a person that's easily insulted? If you are, you will probably notice that not a lot of people dare to meet you, dare to confront you, dare to come into intimate relationships with you. So first, take stock. Is it worth being that vulnerable and easy to be insulted, easy to take offense? If so, double check that. How's that serving you? What are your secondary gains? Are you willing to change those? And back to specific moments. So you're talking to someone, then you feel insulted / you feel sorry for yourself. Notice, what did he actually say or do? So beyond the judgment that I'm putting on his character, what did he actually say? What did that husband actually say to his wife? He said, I didn't like the way you treated my mother. He didn't say you're a horrible person. He didn't say I hate you. He didn't say I want to leave you. He said, I didn't appreciate the way you spoke to my mom. So she was offended, but if she could have cleaned that up, she said, wait, is that real? Is that true? She would actually have a chance to look into herself, because perhaps what he is showing her is a blind spot that she cannot see. And if she can step beyond being insulted, or if I could have stepped beyond being insulted by what my wife said, maybe there's a valid point there that I need to hear. And in fact, I'm reminding you that in second order change, many times the system will feel threatened by the person moving. So they will be insulted, they'll do dramas, they'll do ultimatums. So again, a lot of times when you're insulted, assuming the person isn't there just to hurt you, it's because the person's making a differentiated move. They're trying to say something different. They're calling me on a blind spot. They're refusing to the old dance. And my reaction is to be insulted, because usually that pulls people back into their position, into the old dance. So notice if you're feeling sorry or you feel insulted. What actually happened? And what did they actually say? Okay, I don't talk to his mom in a way that he appreciates. How does that threaten you? Why am I insulted by that? Because what? What does that mean about me? Like, complete that scenario in your mind. So if he's actually saying he doesn't want to go out tonight, or she's saying to me she doesn't like the way I treat her mom. Okay, I went through being insulted. I think about it. Okay, why is that so threatening for me? Why? Because what's my fear? What's my biggest fear? Why am I being triggered by this? Find a few answers for you that. And then ask yourself this following question, which I think is crucial. Do I want to stay close to this relationship, or do I prefer to stay insulted and have a big buffer from intimacy? If this is a relationship you care about, you cannot allow yourself to keep being insulted. Because basically that means you're going to stay the victim, and you're perpetually casting your partner as a persecutor, and that's going to be hurting your intimacy. Or maybe you don't care that much and you want to put that boundary. You want to actually signal to this person, I don't want to hear any of your feedback or comments. I'm willing to take the price that I'm one down. I have this business card of being the sensitive one, the volatile one, the vulnerable one, but at least no one's going to come close to me. And I think if you want to stay close, as we said, hold on to yourself, regulate yourself, breathe, and let that opinion in. Give yourself a second to let it land, as we say. Let that opinion or that feedback or that comment, let it inside of you. Let it land. See if it's valid. And if it is valid, reply to that and continue conversation. Even thank them for daring to say that. A lot of times recently I've been saying, whoa, it's like swallowing something, like something gets stuck in your chest and it's slowly coming down, then comes down and you feel a relief. And call yourself on it. Call yourself when you're feeling sorry for yourself. Even if you can't go back into the crucible, at least say that. I'm feeling insulted, and the truth is, I wish I wasn't, or I'm trying not to, but it's hard for me not to. Again, own your shit in that sense of own it, declare it, self-expose it. When you're feeling those feelings, when you're seeing you're going into self-righteous mode, when you're feeling sorry for yourself, instead of just acting it out and disengaging or fighting, take a second, breathe in, try to find the words. When you spoke about the way I treated your mother, I started feeling sorry for myself. And trust that if you create a culture like that in your relationships around you, professionally and personally, you're going to stop blocking each other. The second you lower the amounts of blocks, you're saying more yes. And the more yeses we have in a relationship, the more adventure. The price we pay is less security. But the more we say yes to each other, the more play. The more play, the more potential state. The more potential state, the more co-creative, collaborative, vital, imaginative wonder of our life. So my name is Dr. Assael Romanelli, and this was The Potential State. I'll see you next time.